So I thought I'd pop on here just to give you another quick update on Battlefield 6, as over the last few days DICE has been sharing some updates on their X account with some interesting content. So let's get straight into it. First, let's talk about the Assault Ladder. This looks like an Assault class only gadget, and here it says, provide your team with access to higher ledges and new points of entry. The Assault Ladder can also be used as a ramp depending on placement angle. In the first clip we can see a player running up to a building with an open balcony, placing the ladder and using it to gain entry to the higher level. In the second clip, the player is running into a lower trench area with a bus over the gap. Once the ladder is deployed, they can use it as a ramp to reach the bus window, which creates a new firing position. I think it'll be really interesting to see how this ladder is used in games, and it'll really change how some of the maps are played, as the ladder provides some really nice new gameplay options. Moving on to the Sledgehammer, it's available to every class, so no restrictions here. You can see in the first clip that the player hits the wall in front, and there's some textural damage on the building, and then the building drops. The debris from the building then destroys the two vehicles around it. It's a pretty exaggerated example of how powerful this hammer is, and I'm not sure if DICE travelled on the Bifrost to get this hammer from Thor, but it certainly packs a punch. In the second video you can also see that the hammer can be used as a melee weapon. There's this brutal melee takedown, where the player grabs some dog tags and blood splattered all over the screen and the hammer itself. I think we're going to see quite a lot of blunt force trauma being swung around the map at launch. Next up is the EOD Bot, a gadget Battlefield fans will recognise, but it's been given some upgrades. It appears to be an engineer-only gadget, but as always, you can drive it remotely, repair vehicles, sabotage enemy armour, and interact with objectives. But this time around, it comes with extra tricks. It can lay pressure mines to punish vehicles, and it can fire small charges to clear enemy mines from the field. In past games, the EOD Bot was often more of a novelty than anything else, but these changes could make it genuinely useful. Finally, we have another engineer-specific gadget, the Acoustic sensor mine. We can see this being placed on the floor here, where it will wait patiently for a vehicle to drive nearby. Once this happens, it launches a small projectile into the air, which homes in on the vehicle itself. As a side note, we can see this map is Mirat Valley, and it does have some of those classic, gritty Battlefield 1 vibes. As well as these clips, they did release some screenshots of some of the maps. First, Mirat Valley. This is one of the larger maps confirmed for launch, with jets, helicopters and tanks all in play. The big talking point though is destruction. We're talking houses flattened, trees toppled, even cranes collapsing during matches. On the screenshot here we can see on the left the map before the action kicks off, and then in the middle we can see the same shot again after the match has concluded. All of the buildings have been completely destroyed, the trees have been turned into firewood, and the crane has now fallen through the building at the back of the map. And I think this really shows the evolution of the map over a single game, and it's going to go down great with the Battlefield community. Then we have Operation Firestorm, a fan favourite from previous titles, but now it looks more destructive than ever. Massive gas tanks erupt into flames, and buildings can be reduced down to nothing but steel skeletons. This might shift the balance a bit, especially in areas that used to be strongholds in earlier games, but it shows just how far the destruction system has been pushed this time. You can just see the steel structures there, which is going to reduce cover opportunities and will really change up how the map is played. And finally, we have New Sobek City. Very similar to the previous two maps in terms of what they're showing. I think the key message that DICE are trying to get across here is destruction, and I think the whole community is ready to embrace this. As well as this info, there's also been some campaign news. For the first time, we're going to see single-player gameplay at the Tokyo Game Show on September 26. The reveal will feature the developers and voice actors, giving us a proper look at the story side of Battlefield 6. Up until now, all we've had are tiny cinematic clips, so this will be our first real gameplay showcase. Now, Battlefield campaigns have never been the main selling point, but they do set the tone and the atmosphere for the game. And EA has been clear this time that the game is the start of a connected Battlefield universe, so a campaign could play an even bigger role than people expect. Either way, it'll be great to see some new gameplay, and I expect the graphics to be turned up to the max for this. On the technical side, the devs have also confirmed that there'll be no ray tracing at launch. The decision was made early, performance and optimization were the priority. To be honest, that's music to my ears. The game already looks incredible without it, and based on the beta build, it's running well across both high and low end PCs. I'd much prefer to have smooth frame rates and low latency than fancy reflections to cut my FPS in half. Maybe ray tracing comes later, but right now performance first feels like the right call. As well as this info, there have been a few juicy leaks. Battlefield Labs has been running playtests, but hackers have dug into the files and uncovered some big surprises. Seasonal content maps have already been spotted, and they look basically complete. Bots are confirmed for solo play, meaning you'll be able to grind the weapon attachments against AI, just like in 2042. Jets have also been reworked. The F-22 and Su-57 now feature thrust vectoring, which gives them insane maneuverability. This should really raise the skill ceiling on the dogfighting capabilities of Battlefield 6, and I'm sure some of the pilots out there will be pleased to hear this. Of course, DICE is working hard to take this footage down on platforms like Twitter and YouTube, but if you know where to look, I'm sure you can find it. So that's the latest on Battlefield 6, the new assault ladder gadget, the devastating Sledgehammer, and the upgraded EOD Bot. Large-scale destruction, campaign gameplay on the way, performance prioritised over ray tracing, and some major leaks about jets, maps, and a full Battle Royale mode, which we'll get into in another video. We're about a month away from release now, and things are really starting to heat up. I want to hear from you. Which of these features are you most excited about? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one.